I'd like to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being taped for playback later on WRPS and YouTube. The listings of other matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at this meeting. Not all items listed may be in fact discussed, and others may also be brought up to the extent permitted by law. With that, I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Motion open the meeting.
A second.
Second,
Mr. DeRoss.
Yes.
Ms. Valley.
yes.
Mr. Hession's a yes, that is unanimous. We do not have minutes, correct?
The agenda says minutes to be approved for,
10th, 12th, and 19th.
we actually did that.
Did them the week before.
Yes.
That was my error.
I do have new minutes for you to take with for the next meeting.
Okay.
Be for you, and that would be for.
I'll bring Robin in later when she's ready. Continuation of old business. Robin's be typing up have you seen the copy of the letter I prepared for the Board of Selectmen regarding a liaison officer?
I did, and I just wanted to ask, Robin had typed it up and I was looking at it earlier. And there's the last paragraph that I'm not sure what your intent is or how you want to
The last
word
paragraph
that.
reads, we further request that the Board of Selectmen inform Commissioner Sherry Valley and involve her in any inquiries at the beginning of the process that may regard sewer system infrastructure funding, research, or inquiries. My intention was to assure that, I know Laurie's hot to trot on grants and funding and what have you, and I appreciate that, but I also do not want it to conflict or have to pay double, because we're also having Wright, Pierce, and Veolia doing the same effort. So if she's going off, if anyone's going off on funding, I want to make sure we're all in tune, so we're not paying for the same territory
Right,
twice.
I'd like to know where those inquiries are being made and what information they're
So
getting.
how would you like that to read? I'll tell you what. Do you want to, since that was already voted approval, or do you want to make edits sort where your name is mentioned and you can email it to me and I'll have Robin type it up?
All right, that
All
sounds
right,
good.
you can think about
Yeah, I
it.
just want to clarify that they just need to get the information to us so we're.
Okay,
we know what's
however
going
you
on.
want to word that, you feel.
Because for time constraints, I don't know if I can actually get involved with their inquiries.
no, if you can't,
But to be appraised of what
I
has
just
been
want to
done.
be appraised of. Jack, I'm sorry I didn't make you up a copy of that. I'll wait till Sherry, you're ready. What I have done is I prepared a list of new connections that we have right now. I had made a mistake on the Weymouth Street that I'll go into later. Up in the upper left-hand corner, we have approved, and this was before the moratorium. All but one were approved before the moratorium. That's Manzella Court. Manzella Court is very small flow. So we have Manzella Court, Concord Meadows, Beechwood Estates, Dwyer Street, Monahan Rink, and 48 Carey Street. I mention these because Manzella Court's on the waiting list. The others were approved before the moratorium, but this is flow we have not seen.
So I have a question, man.
Sure.
Concord Meadows, what is that?
Concord Meadows is 365 Concord Street.
Okay,
That was the last name I had for the project. And those are the flows, which totals 26,970 gallons that we have not even had seen that flow. Now, a flow as of today is 3.5 million gallons a day. It's been like that steady basically since the first of the month. So we are going to blow the month of March right out of the water. And it's going to affect our rolling average, which a 12-month rolling average is what we should be looking at before we approve new connections. The second column I stated there is what we are, anticipating in fees. And in red, I had put down Concord Meadows and Beechwood, if they connect, they're gonna be subject to the new fees. So that's what that bottom line figure is, $685,000 in fees unapproved. Now, on the waiting list, we have 320 Concord Street in Mansella.
All right, can we back up to the already approved 48 Carey Street? That
48 Carey Street was a single family.
yeah. So are we going to take that off this list?
I'm gonna leave it on there
It's
because
not
it's
subject.
the only reason I'm keeping it on there is so I have a good feeling on the flow, what flow is out there that we haven't seen yet. Even though it's 330 gallons, it doesn't pertain to the moratorium or anything. I wanna make sure I'm really cautious on this flow right now, and I wanna
Okay.
make sure I'm keeping on top of it.
I just feel like there's others then that maybe should be in here, and I don't. know
That's
what
what
they
I
are.
can't think of
So,
any. That's
I
why
think-
the reason I put that Monahan ring, because I'm not sure if we're seeing the full flow.
So
The rest of it's gonna be septic.
Monahan Rink is up and running, so we must be seeing the whole thing.
I don't think we're seeing the entire flow. If we have, we are, but, so I could take that off, but it's still, we haven't removed it.
No. I think we should have a separate list just for the single family, not subject to, but we definitely want to keep track of how much
Sure,
that is.
I could do that.
I do have a list of addresses at one of our approvals,
I see they're building a school now.
so, no, they're building the, yeah,
Oh,
the
the
academy.
The academy, yeah.
But isn't that
But that's
septic?
septic, I'm not even,
Yeah,
I
we
don't
don't,
care
that
about
doesn't
that.
affect us. All right, so 48 Carey Street, we're gonna move that to a separate single-family list.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, my goal is to just stay on top of this
And we
flow.
definitely want to. And then,
We have
Both
320 at Concord approved, pending availability. Weymouth Street is gonna be small, and we made a mistake on that, the engineer gave us the wrong figure on that, and I was putting it down on the new fee list, a new structure, so that's really only gonna be 75 gallons a day,
so should,
that won't even be affected
so
by it.
that should go over under the single-family list.
Yeah,
We
that's
need
just
to-
gonna be, that's just an addition.
Yeah,
So what I'm looking at is a total flow that has to come out just based on what we have approved is 300,000 gallons of I&I. That's on top of what we're over right now, which right now I'm looking at probably 700,000 gallons has to come out. So that means we're 1 million gallons over capacity before we can allow anyone in.
You think we have that much of a bigger leak?
No, I think we've got a significant I&I, we had a bad I&I problem. This high water flow is not helping us out. What that's creating is more velocity in the pipes. The flow is all based on velocity and the pressure. So if you've got cracks, everyone knows water's gonna find the path of least resistance. And once you get a crack, you're subject to expansion, which is gonna widen that crack. So our I&I problem has been exponentially exasperated because of this high water. And we're gonna have rain all week, and I'm just not optimistic. I do not realistically see us being able to approve any connections for at least a year.
so this 315,000 is the I&I remediation required that we have to remove based on what we have approved to date.
That's what we have, waiting list and everything. That is what has to come out on top of the 720,000 to get us that, because our rolling average right now is 2.73 million gallons a day. Before we realistically allow any new connections, we have to get down to at least a 12-month average of 2 million gallons a day to give us room for breathing if it rains. Because right now, we're just gonna be subject to more SSOs if we get a heavy rainfall.
In the 720,000?
700, right now, our 12-month rolling average is 2.72 million gallons a day.
Yep,
That's 12 months. For a facility of this size, to operate realistically, you should be in a 1.85 to 2.0 million gallons a day.
mhm,
That gives you a safety margin of rain, the 500 gallons, 500,000 gallons to deal with I&I, what have
So
you.
that we avoid the SSO.
Right. But realistically, I don't think we're gonna get to that, but that's
And
what
the
we should be shooting for.
720,000 is the difference?
Yeah, so what I'm looking at for I&I shortage on just what we have approved, we're gonna be short $1.4 million for I&I. That's just dealing with the 315,000 gallons.
$1,004,000?
$1.4 million, based on $6.61 a gallon.
Okay.
Good news.
Great,
Um,
all right, so,
And again, what we're taking out is not even a drop in the bucket, that 119,000. Do I think it's gonna be a lot more than 119,000 with this high flow. But I also think what we're taking out is gonna be replaced by the damages I posed onto the pipes. But time will tell. I don't think we're gonna really get a handle on it till August, September.
okay,
They said the summer's gonna be a wet summer.
no.
That's what I heard. Great for the reservoir.
So I think what you're telling us is that until we can remediate the 11-to-1 ratio that we've already committed to, we cannot approve further projects.
No, we cannot. I mean, I'm open for arguments, I'm open for discussion on it. I just don't see how we can keep throwing more at it. I mean, that's,
Well,
What they
it's
did in the
digging the
past.
same hole that we're trying to get out of.
right, and that's, like I said last Tuesday night, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expect a different results. Now, granted, everyone's gonna say, we need the development money, yes, we do. But when you take the developer's money, they're not gonna wanna wait to connect.
And
They're gonna wanna connect, that's more flow, and we're already behind. Now, my other concern is that the EPA has already told us we're gonna be fine. That fine is for the 2006 administrative order that the town ignored.
right,
If we start showing a precedent that we're not paying attention, and it's for the flow.
if we keep approving
If we keep
projects,
approving and turning away from the flow, we're gonna be in bigger trouble.
they're gonna read it as we're ignoring the new order.
That's a gentleman from, I think, the job. So,
So what we need to do is find some money
well,
to take care of that
that leads into my next,
315,000.
that leads
Well-
into my,
Okay, but if you stay with that, if we can find that money to remediate the 315,000 that we're already committed to, moving forward, a project will come in, but they're paying us proper fees so that we can immediately go
Right.
and take care of it. So we're
Well,
out of that hole.
what I'm telling you is you're not out of that hole. That 315,000 gallons is
Mhm.
not gonna take you out of the hole
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
because of the flow.
Yes.
because of the flow.
Okay,
We are looking, as
That's the
of today, we're
720.
looking at 1 million gallons a day that has to come out.
okay.
1 million gallons. And that's if we wanna be in the safe parameter. And the reason I'm saying that, we have a 12-month rolling average of 2.72. That's what the EPA is looking at. They don't care. If you
Yeah.
look at a regular month, you can fluctuate. You may have a 1.4 month and then a 1.8. They don't care about, what's your whole year look like?
Right.
And we're not even close to being,
Yet, you're right, yet their main gallons ought to be under 2.5.
we gotta get below that 2.5 before we even think of letting anyone else in. I mean, we may wanna say, okay, to clean our list so we have 0 on the waiting list, we could probably, if after this work is done, just clear off the waiting list and just ride it out. And we can explain that away, but we'd have to stick to our guns about, we're not even gonna have a hearing until we have some wastewater to give away. And that may be the route to go, but I'd wanna talk to them first. And Sherry brought up the point about money, and that money is a valid concern, because we are not gonna have any revenue. But the town as a whole is in this as well with us. And when I say the town, I'm referring to the former boards of selectmen and the administrator who kept allowing development in and deliberately ignoring the needs of the sewer department. Well, right now, the municipal sewer, the municipalities do not pay for sewer, Rockland, anything municipal in Rockland. That means the schools, fire department,
Police department.
park department, senior center, community center, they pay zero for sewer usage. They put it all on the ratepayers and the taxes, and they use the tax money for that. However, the school alone, just looking at the schools, they use, in a school year, a 10-month school year, I calculate out to $430,000 a year based on cubic feet that the sewer department pays for. Here it is here. The schools, looking at the kindergarten, the elementary, and the high school, they use approximately 5,791,000 cubic feet of water. Now you divide that by 100 to get to your billing, which is by 100 cubic feet. That's 57,910 cubic feet of water they're billed on. At $7.41, that's $430,000 a year just for the schools. Never mind those other departments. Now, what I printed out for you is right from the chapter 40N. Shut it down to 40N. That gives the sewer commissioners the right to assess user fees to not just individual and residential commercial users, but also to the municipality and also any state entity that uses our sewer water. Now, unfortunately, financially, I think we are in that bind, and people are gonna scream, well, if you put a user fee on the schools, they're gonna pass that off to us on taxes, and we're already paying user fees for the sewer. They're 100% right. What I am saying is that the town should find a way, after all these years, to throw a bone, if you would, to the sewer department to help us out. Now, what I'm gonna propose, and I would like permission to speak to the Board of Selectmen and Mr. Lapp, is I am proposing that we assess them $300,000 a year. How they come up with it, they can come up with it on a means not to tax the user. But that $300,000 would also be subject to what we're doing for user rates by going up 10% yearly. And that money would strictly go to I&I. Now, the sewer department has only budgeted for the next 10 to 15 years, $200,000 a year. Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong. That $200,000 a year will only eliminate probably around 30,000 gallons of I&I, and the cost to remove I&I is going up. So it's basically not gonna put a dent in it, not even a drop in it. What I feel is that the town should help us out as well. Granted, they could look at grants, loans, what have you. I don't think loans is the option for a sewer department, but they should find money in free cash to allocate to get us out of this bind. They use it as well as we do. The only alternative would be to say, okay, we're gonna assess you user fees, which we obviously have the right to do. It'll go to court, would win. I don't think it will go to court because it's cut and dried. But I think they should put their heads together to find out how they could come up with that $300,000 without punishing the users. without punishing the residents. Now, what that may force them to do is curb their spending on some of these other projects, say, we just don't have the money. I mean, if they wanna develop, they wanna bring in development, we need to have the capacity to service that. We do not have the capacity. And that capacity is not gonna fall out of the sky, and that capacity right now is not gonna come from a developer. I'm open to discussion.
Is it
on that.
gonna come from the complete remediation of this I&I?
Say that again.
Is it going to come from the complete remediation of the I&I?
We'll never completely get rid of I-9.
No, I understand that, and that's what the 200,000 is for that ongoing.
200,000.
The big hole that we're in right now, our budgetary 200,000, that's just for
Right.
the annual I&I.
Right,
But we're in a bigger hole that 200,000 is not going to cover.
right, I put that
Should we-
towards that.
Should we move forward on this and they're amenable?
I'm saying they should have to go out and look. We're fighting
So-
to get the sewer plant upgraded, okay?
Yes.
We can tackle that piece, we need some help. They should be out funding or finding ways to go after the I&I on the street.
Right.
You know, would naturally would spearhead it, but, we need some help, and if they don't wanna do that to it, well, I'm gonna say, I wanna say, look, you're gonna have to start paying us $300,000 a year for sewerage.
Yeah.
How you offset that with grants, what have you, is fine. We don't wanna see it come from the taxpayer. If it's gonna come from the taxpayer, then you've gotta clip your wings and not do so much spending around town.
Right, and all of that is going to be
Strictly I&I.
is not in our control.
Right.
But to assess a user fee, call a user fee for these municipals, will that, if we use that fees to address the I&I, will that in turn give us the capacity that we need?
Hopefully,
To
we'll
start
catching up.
Yeah.
Do I see it giving us the capacity in 2 or 3 years? No. I think we're at least 4 to 5 years to dig out of the hole, and that's unrealistic. We're gonna be letting single-family units in, but as we let the single-family users in, that's taking away additional capacity. Look what's on the horizon, for example. You got Holy Family. You got Park and Howard Street. Park and Howard's probably gonna be combined between the two of them, let's say 50 units. We don't have, we
don't have the
can't,
capacity.
we can't, we can't even accommodate 25 bedrooms right now. Total.
How about the one on Union Street?
Yeah,
So-
we can't. We do not have the capacity right now to take on one more user. And I told Chairman O'Loughlin last Tuesday night, I said, right now, where I'm sitting, I'm saying a minimum a year.
Mhm.
You go through these numbers and you try to build yourself some, not a safety net, but a margin of error for weather like this.
Yeah.
You're more than a year. Now, we depend on revenue to meet our budgets or what have you. They have to pitch in and help. And I'm very grateful for ARPA and what have you, but that's not taking care of the day-to-day needs.
The app is gone now too, right? You said, right?
And the cost to remove I&I is gonna go up as well. Now, we've assessed some good fee we have a good fee structure in place, I think.
Mhm.
But that's no good if we can't bring in development.
Right. Right, and it's not good for the town if we can't.
It's not, and it's unfortunately, this is not, people are gonna say it's
So-
finger pointing, it's not
No.
finger pointing.
No.
We're trying to dig out a 17-year hole they put us in, and that's not gonna happen in 2, 3, 4 years.
So I'm asking the question that I'm sure the board and town hall are going to ask. If we move forward on the municipal sewer usage fees, how, when, if is that going to give us the capacity to start
I'm
allowing
gonna
the
say, I
development?
would say we need at least 3 years.
3 years.
And you're talking over 1 million gallons used there.
I'm looking at right now, 1 million gallons just to get down to a safety margin of operation.
I mean, just,
Now, the woman that was at the meeting, Miss Woods, I believe her name was, she's from the North River Watershed Association. Now you bet your life they're gonna be watching.
Oh, yeah.
We've already, they specifically mentioned Rockland shutting down the clam beds. That's people's income. I don't want that type of publicity. Now, that's also gonna go to the EPA.
oh, yes.
So we need to put our heads together. I would like to draft a letter requesting a meeting to discuss it. I think it should be an open session. But our direction and our goal should be that however they come up with this funding, it cannot come from the rate user, current rate users or taxpayers. They have to figure out a way to get us that $300,000 minimum a year. And I'm saying starting in FY '25, we have a year, give them a year to work this out. This is going into FY '24. But that 300,000 is gonna go up 10%, or it's gonna go up, as the user rates go up,
Yeah.
that rate is gonna go up the same amount. I mean, like I said, just from the schools, we're paying out of our pocket, the user rates and the sewer department's paying $500,000. And granted, that's the biggest user in town, but. So let's figure they're up around $500,000 right now, $500,000 a year, if not more, than user rates, user fees. Again, I'm open for suggestions.
So,
All I can do is throw things
yeah,
against the
yeah,
wall.
that's the whole purpose to these working sessions, is to kick ideas around. You know, I for one, I would not want to see these municipal fees be carried by taxes on the residents, but
I agree.
that's not in our control.
No, it's not in our control,
Unfortunately.
but.
But I do see this as more of a partnership to get the flow under and capacity.
Well,
so
that's
that
all,
we
that's all I'm
can
looking for.
develop that.
My intention is not to punish the town. I'm saying
Yeah.
we need help.
No, it's,
It's a
We just
50-50 split.
we can't say how
do
that's
it.
gonna happen, but a partnership is certainly reasonable.
But however it's done, it cannot hurt the taxpayers. But, you know what, unfortunately, they may have to wake up and face the music that we can't be spending like we are to build new things.
Well, yeah. that-
And
And as
I
it
would
is,
like to
but.
see that. I would like
to.
to see that realized, yes, but again, we can't dictate their thinking.
No, we can't dictate their thinking, but one of the new things that it was in the previous moratorium, but what I'm putting in the new moratorium at it is, from now on, municipalities have got to pay connection fees, the full amount of the fee.
Again, that's the same logical
I mean,
thinking.
We can't do it. We're not gonna get ahead of this I&I with $200,000. $200,000 a year. It's 741 is what? 30,000 gallons?
So in my thoughts, the 200,000, right now, these big numbers we're throwing around is because there's a big puddle in the street, and that's what we're trying to clean up. But the 200,000 is to take care of the incoming trickles that we discover.
That 200,000 that
Outside of
sewer
us.
department has budgeted is realistically just taking care of any single-family homes that come in. Divide that 200,000 by 751, that's 30,000 gallons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take the average home, like, okay, take a four-bedroom home, is 440 gallons, right?
Yep,
Times 11
yep.
is what we gotta remove. So you put 2 or 3 4-bedroom homes in, there's your $200,000 a year.
All right, that's a good way to think about it.
Feel free to jump in. But I just can't see, I can't see any other way of digging out of this. I mean, granted there, and there are grants and loans out there, right? I'm not saying that we could do this, but anything grants and loans, it's only gonna help us get additional capacity. We're gonna need grants and funding for the upgrade.
Yeah,
Now, we're also gonna need grants and funding to help get ahead of the I&I. If we get a $1 million grant for I&I, bogus, that 5 years is cut down to 2.
What's the
Okay,
chances
and that's-
of off-site storage?
None right now. None right now. We got, this town meeting is going to approve that 2.5, that's when we could look at site work just for this and the design work. But the primary is site work. Can we increase our storage? Can the ground hold another storage tank? Which I tend to doubt, it's a wetlands. But,
You may not take what you wanna do right now and
No.
add onto the walls.
no, but what we're gonna have to look at, we have to look at grants and funding for the facility and for I&I.
and the I&I. We absolutely do,
Absolutely, that's the only way we're gonna dig out of it.
yeah.
We're not gonna dig out it the way we're going, because the money we've budgeted, and that's if we get income, revenue, right? Is gonna just take care of single-family homes we allow to connect.
When was this place built?
Huh?
When was this place put online?
Excuse me?
When was this put online? When was this place put online?
This,
Sewer plant?
1960.
Jesus.
1962, 1960. 1962, I believe, went online. Started construction, yeah, 1962. So that's, you know, I don't wanna be doom and gloom. I'm trying to tell people what is reality here and to understand where we're at. I mean, the Board of Selectmen have to understand that we cannot take in any new development. That's, I don't care, 40Bs, whatever, we cannot take them in.
The aesthetics to the EPA, if they paid, would be very good. And you need that aesthetics to keep that
Right.
fine down.
It would signify town buy-in.
Otherwise, they're gonna, I mean, they could really nail you guys, more of the town than me.
Well, I think what the fine you're gonna see, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised to see $100,000 fine, but that $100,000, the first order was for repeated flow violations, and we told them we were gonna do a world of stuff. No one did a blessed thing. Now, that EPA order in 2006 was not just issued to the sewer department, it was issued to the town of Rockland. Well, the town of Rockland ignored it.
That's right.
Yes.
So we're in this together, whether we like it or not. And we do not have the financial being to withdraw from this. So I think we have to set up a joint meeting and discuss it. I think it should definitely wait till after the elections now, but we need a good financial person to focus on us. So, that is that, and I think you should really, what I'm gonna do is probably the April meeting, April 20th meeting, I'll ask for a vote on pursuing a municipal sewer usage fee. That gives us 3 weeks to think it over and continue to discuss it. The only other thing I can come up with is hit them with user fees, which they will turn around and put on the taxpayer. And that if they would charge them user fees, I think you'd see it up around $500,000 a year. Me, if them saying, okay, 300,000, they can come up with 300,000. Again, they're gonna have to clip their wings on the spending. The next thing I'd like to address is moratorium amendments. We had a moratorium in 2021. Unfortunately, we got hit with another administrative order. And what I'd like to do is tighten up on that order. I took a lot of the verbiage of it from the previous one, but I added some more conditions. It's basically the same thing, but I mentioned the 2-year permit, just out of that. I need you to really take a hard look at that, because this will have to be voted in for July
Okay.
to go into effect. I mean, it's to me a moot document. What I would like to do is by May, have buy-in from the board, send it into the EPA and let them comment on it. Before we said, I'm not gonna put this in our May submittal.
Okay,
I'd like to do it as a, hey, we want you part of the solution too, would you please? And Dave Turin has been great with me. I've had questions, I've called him, and he's been really helpful, except on the extension. I'm not gonna buy that
No,
extension, I
I
can
don't
tell you that
blame
right
him.
now.
I can't blame you.
Especially with what we're going through now. So, please, again, look hard at this moratorium,
Did you give
How many
me-
other people are calling from the town?
huh?
How many other people are calling this in from the town, maybe getting disgusted?
I don't know. I've had some calls this week that I wanna go over with you.
Are you gonna send that copy out?
I already did.
Oh, okay.
You have this
That's fine.
in your mailbox. You can look at that if you wish. You can have that copy, I have a copy of it. I wanna go a little bit on 333 Weymouth Street that I gave a major coronary to, and she was 100% right. I quickly put out, I told Eric Shoemaker, the engineer, that I'd give him a quick blurb on what I thought were the fees that I took down from that night. I used the new matrix fee. They're not a new they're not opening up another business, it's an addition. He gave me the wrong fees for the usage flow. It's only 75 gallons a day, because technically, as far as we're concerned, they're only adding one bathroom. So their fees are only gonna be like $1,600. I put down like $35,000. But I corrected that, so they're comfortable with that. Their fees will be about $1,650. I scheduled him to come in at our next working session, which is next Tuesday, because that'll be a nice boom, boom, in and out.
We have a new, okay.
If you could do next Tuesday, if
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
we'll do that.
Yeah, they're gonna do the clean out too?
Hmm?
Yeah, it's about a clean out.
Yeah, he's put it in the clean out. The other thing I had, just is other stuff that came in. I received a phone call from a couple of the residents up on Beach Hill where they're doing the work for Dan Dell, the drainage work. And one of the residents was kind enough to point out to me and remind me that we are also the drainage committee. And I said, yes, I was aware of that. Where are you going with this? And I was told that they had put in a request for public information on all the prints in the sewer lines from that crest of the hill down. And I said, why? And, I mean, it wasn't hostile. They just said, because you're draining into the wetlands at the bottom of the hill. And I had no idea they were. I said, all I'm aware of is we're doing the permit, the catch basin up at the top of the hill. Looking at this, that the bill we got from Dandel, which is I should have looked further, they put in 400 linear feet of ADS pipe, excavation of installation of 280 also at linear feet. I went up, and they're going from the manhole all the way down Beach Hill into the wetlands drainage. There's not a catch basin, there's a runoff in there. So, my question to Robin when she comes in is, I gotta find out, of the $24,000, why are we paying for that? Are we liable for all the drainage, or I heard that highway's supposed to be part of the
Yeah, I
drainage.
thought we split that.
So that's what I gotta find out. Out of that 24,000, what I'd like to know is how much of that's coming out of sewer?
They said that's a sewer manhole,
All we're paying for is that manhole. I don't think we should have to pay for that piping going down. So that's what I wanna kinda,
Oh, so
Well,
it's a
where would
pipe.
it go?
Well,
From,
where it shouldn't be going into the wetlands, because I don't wanna see sewage going into wetlands.
exactly, exactly.
So that's
And I'll point out, I was having a conversation, that contract or bill from Dandel does not include materials, which are adding up rapidly.
right, well, the thing is,
So, there's that Beach Street is really becoming a problem.
Yeah, but so we gotta narrow this one down.
And I think they're gonna asphalt that this year too.
Yeah, they are, this spring.
Yes.
They're gonna be digging up and asphalting it. I was noticed by Eric Shoemaker. Okay,
Yeah, can we stick with the fees? I'd like to suggest that the fees be discussed at the board meetings, since we're meeting every week, so that we make sure that we're getting the right fees going out to places. Can we do that?
Yep.
I think maybe a vote in lieu of a,
Oh, those fees were just a quote to him. Those
Okay.
are not, those were definitely
Oh,
not,
all right,
they
yeah.
weren't gonna be voted on until he comes in.
Oh, fine,
I
fine.
wouldn't do, I can't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
the
don't
final
think
fees,
that
I
is-
guess,
right,
the final
right.
fees should have a vote.
They-
is what
it
I'm
is.
saying. Okay.
The next thing that's not on the list is, on the agenda is, Dyer Street. I've asked them to come in on April 20th, the meeting. He missed the last meeting, said it was a family emergency. I received a call from Pat Brennan, the town engineer, and as well as also from a resident yesterday from Rice Avenue. Stick with Brennan, the engineer. He shut them down at my request Monday. The sewer line failed the testing. It also failed the pressure test going into the building, which he had covered up. So Pat's telling him
You want us to meet?
to excavate the whole pipeline and retest it. So I've asked him, Pat, I talked about Pat Brennan from yesterday.
Oh,
Pat's going to write that up for the record. And the other thing is that the neighbor, the resident that called me yesterday was complaining about the drainage going into the back of their house, which I've also asked Pat. Pat was have to look at that anyway for the town, so.
Is that the drainage, like, it goes in, it goes like this?
No, the drainage is going from the Dwyer Street down towards the properties of Rice Avenue.
And he owes us updated plans as well.
Right. Well, I haven't seen him if he
No.
has them. So he'll be coming in on the 20th.
I think he knew he was failing, so he didn't want to show up that night.
You know, we were talking about Dandel before you come in. The resident that called me was talking about drainage going into the wetlands down below. I said that's just, she pointed out that the sewer department is also drainage, and I said I understand that. We have a mutual agreement with highway on the drainage. But my concern is, how do we ascertain the costing of what it costs the sewer? How do we split that bill?
I don't know, you'd have to talk to David about that.
Okay, because what I'm looking at here is, we're paying for the manhole at the top. There's 400 feet going down the street into the wetlands, which I don't think is sewerage.
I don't think it's going into the wetlands, I think there's a drainage ditch down there, or maybe two drainage ditches.
There is a drain, okay,
But
ditch
we're
on that.
paying for it because we're building that to divert that water from the manhole into drainage. And that's why
Okay.
we're paying for it.
Okay.
I think so, but if
As
you
long
want
as it's not sewer water that's going down there.
No, it's so, to keep that water no, it's not. It's street water, groundwater that was getting into that manhole. And that was what was making the cover bubble up. So we rehab the manhole and divert the water down to that, is it called a culvert or a drainage ditch?
It's not a
or
culvert, it's
something?
just it's a ditch. I thought it was part of a
There's two-
brook.
Yeah, no, there's two drainage things down there that we're diverting the water into.
Okay. So
That's
we're gonna
my
see a
lay- That's my layman's terms description.
hole in the ground where the water goes. So in other words, we're gonna see a bill higher than the 24,000.
I think they've already started the work.
Oh, they have started the work.
Yeah, but if you wanna make sure that you're coming in at 24,000, you're probably gonna have to swing by every day
Yeah. No, I haven't gone by.
and actually talk to whoever's in charge up
I'll
there.
talk to Dan. I saw Dan up there yesterday, but he had a bunch, but I think it was the resident that called.
Oh,
That's the one that we called and asked for all those prints for the public record.
oh, no, that was someone else that called for all the prints on Beach Hill.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was him.
The same, no, he's not a resident, the person who wanted all those, he's got some project going on,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Another
Which,
project?
we have to talk about that too, because, are we done with that? You left your pile unattended, Mr. Ashen.
Which pile?
The one of the drawings that you're pulling for the public records request, we need to touch base on that.
Yeah, no, I want to touch base with that, because I can't find any more drawings.
All right, so we have to tabulate what we have and
Oh, I
turn them
can-
in. I didn't know you were done, I thought you were.
Oh, no, I'm done. What I'll do is I'll come in tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll write them out. I'll do them on a little Excel spreadsheet.
All right,
what we have.
yeah, we can work together
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I can do that.
All right, I'm sorry, what did you say Pat Brennan was gonna do next step on
I asked
Dyer
Pat
Street?
I asked Pat to write up, that little visit Monday on, Dwyer Street. Dave was in attendance too, and I want him to CC Dave on that.
So it's a write-up of closing down the project?
Yeah, no, he's got to excavate right from he built it in. He's got to excavate all that piping out.
All right,
He has to wash the shirt on that job.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, roof, gas, to Dwyer, yeah, okay. Oh, the other thing is the I&I rehab has begun. I'm stopping by there, they're up on Brookdale, which is behind the golf course, yesterday in West Water. I saw them this morning, they were still there. Dan, you said you saw them down
On
at
Hagan
Hingham?
Street, yeah, down there.
Okay, that's probably the
This
next
is
thing.
Green
I'm gonna say.
Mountain?
Green Mountain, yeah.
All
But
right,
it's
so-
inland waters.
But I don't see the truck.
Yeah, it's inland waters is the
So-
truck.
Are you gonna be stopping by and seeing them every day?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
have it.
There are police details at each job.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna be at more than one location at a time.
I think it's only
Probably-
one crew at a time.
Okay, so you probably have to hit that location and sign off on the police detail.
Okay.
The police officers themselves will drop them off down here and make sure that the location is marked on there. They're usually good about that, but include the words Green Mountain Project so that I'll know to keep track of it. That way it won't go awry before we even get started.
Yeah, because it would be confusing for you because it's Upland Waters that's there now. It's like they bought out Green Mountain.
Oh, okay, so either one. It
It's same
doesn't
one,
matter
yep.
to me as long as.
No, I'll keep it kosher.
All right,
Oh, and I gotta come in tomorrow to do that.
you can tell me whenever you're ready for me.
We're on now.
Oh, I am, okay. Excuse me. All right, so the two drain layer applications through Roto-Rooter, one out of Stoughton, and then they had Mitchell Associates.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a chance?
Mitchell was fine. Roto-Rooter, I spoke to you guys last week about. We require 3. They only gave us 2. And they said they've done it in the city of Boston. And I just threw it out for discussion. What I don't wanna do is start saying precedents that if we let one guy with 2,
Can't come up with a third.
right, that's right, but I wanna throw it out there.
Yeah, no.
That, he only gave 2, he could use the argument, which I'm sure he will, that's only emergency work, but what I'm leery of is start to say, well, a precedent that says, well, you let Roto-Rooter in with 2, someone sure as hell's gonna come back.
We didn't let Roto, yeah.
No, we haven't.
Right.
But I'm
So
saying,
you
it
know
just
what,
bring
I
up to this,
think it's even more important if it's emergency work, because they're gonna be doing it on a Saturday and Sunday under the radar,
right,
and we may not
Yes.
get out there to check it. And so it's important that they're completely vetted.
right, so what he is also aware of is that he is to use only Rockland drain lanes after the last go-round.
Right,
So they're sent out from Stoughton, the Stoughton office. So if I could get him a list of our drain
but
lanes.
that Stoughton office is the one that only had the 2 references.
Right, I agree. But the reason he wanted the 2 was for him, the general manager. That was for the general manager, his drain layer license himself.
Right.
And I said, no, I said,
Oh, he wants an umbrella license?
I think
basically,
so.
yeah, he
Yeah.
went under his name.
Yeah, no, we
No.
don't,
So I said we would get him a list of Rockland drain layers to be used. And again, that's why I brought it up to you guys last week. But I don't want to start setting a precedent that, because for sure someone's gonna say, well, you did it for him, why won't you do it for me?
so just for future reference, we don't usually send out the licensed drain layers. I will do it as a courtesy to if we have a resident who doesn't have access to the internet or they're struggling with it somehow, but it's on the internet.
It's on the
Okay.
I mean, on our
website.
website, yeah.
No, and I told him that, but I'm just trying to
I mean,
avoid
I'll
the
send him-
situation that happened
I will
before.
send him the list, but He says he's done work in the city of Boston.
Yep,
Okay, they provide references.
I agree.
He didn't get one.
No, I'm not gonna go keep calling and say, I want a reference, can you give me this, give me that? That's
Alright,
up to
so I'm
him.
sitting here with a check from him though.
Okay, I'll call him.
Send the check back.
No, I'll call him. To get reference from, Boston.
If you want his attention,
Can
send the
I
money back.
make a suggestion?
Yeah,
That drain layer license is getting longer.
yep,
And it's with people that are like coming in here to do these jobs. And it takes away from people who are already licensed, who work in the town, who live in the town. And I just feel like the list is just getting away from us. I'd rather keep it the size that it is and put a moratorium on that. There's no reason why Dyer Street, and we wouldn't be in this predicament if we told them, no, we have licensed drain layers on our list that have been on there for years, you're required to use them. Just like we would say to any other resident.
mhm. Robin brought that up to me, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, we're always approving. And how many we have, ballpark?
We have maybe 15, 17?
So we're just approving drain layers that are coming in for one.
Right,
project.
and we
Yeah,
did
one
it
project,
twice.
yeah, say, no, we have a
We
list
did
of
it
like,
twice for Dyer Street,
And they threw one off.
and look at the mess that it's in.
we went through 3, didn't we?
Well, I remember the first one, and they had some kind of falling out.
Yeah, and then they had a second one, and he never even showed up, was gonna come in, he never showed up.
Right,
And
so
then
he
they got
never
the
got
third one.
licensed, the
Right.
third one did, so 2 licensed, yeah. Makes you wonder what the second guy saw, looking at the first guy's work.
Well, he came in between, I'll call it a piece of spaghetti, when I was up there with Pat, the line that he laid, you could see it. There's no way he lasered it.
So what I might suggest is, currently we are going to have an amendment to our ordinance. And then the board has to institute some rules and regulations, and maybe that's where this belongs. And we could put it in our rules and regulations, that you have to use Rockland drain layers.
But do we say for now, for the short term, we're gonna put a moratorium, excuse me, until at least July on accepting any new drain layers application?
Well,
We already make you use a licensed drain layer, but
Yes.
what has happened is these people have come with their own and then applied for a
Then they
license.
applied to get a
Right.
Rockland license.
That's why I think if we put a moratorium on it, they can't bring in whoever they
They'll
want.
just have to go to the Rockland list.
Right, but, so there's a flip side of that too, so then we have residents who, you know, their brother-in-law is a drain layer, never had a license yet, but they want them to do the work, and we've done those before. But for these big projects, I think it's kind of starting to be a problem. So you might wanna put more consideration into
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
because
we need-
now,
it needs to
what
be
you
a
brought
very-
up is a different
And it needs,
different animal.
and if
Right.
we're gonna do this, it just needs to be very consistent, because
Right.
you can't
So
have a lot
those
of
are
if
the, right,
thens.
so before you decide, you probably wanna consider all those.
All right, let's, I'll put it on an agenda for discussion.
In the meantime, with this roto-rooter, did we want to include?
No, I'll
it?
call him in, so you get,
You're gonna tell
I'm
them
gonna call
about the
him,
third?
you
reference.
give me a third reference.
Yes, yes, okay.
I mean, he knows he needed one, he's just trying to get around it.
he wants to use that umbrella.
Yeah, that's,
Basically, that's what he's after.
excuse me. All right, so the sewer system overflow that we just went through. David Burns contacted Rick Kachush, so you know, we've been doing the 911 robocall, and David Burns contacted and said that we don't need to do that. The most important part of the notification plan is that once a bypass occurs, you have 2 hours to post it on the town website and then update the website every 8 hours until the bypass ends. He stated that Rockland was the only town that performed the 911 call. So we must have misunderstood the initial instructions and
Oh,
implemented
creating a
that.
lot of work.
And a
Well,
lot,
it was more the panic in the residents, you know.
yeah, people were getting upset about
So
it.
what I've done is I sent Doug Lapp and Scott, I talked to Scott Duffy about it, because I thought he was he is the emergency coordinator. I spoke to him, I sent him a copy of the Dave Burns email. I also sent it to Doug Lapp. And again, if it does happen, we're gonna be mentioning it on monthly meetings anyway, so people like from the North River watershed will be aware of it. They get notified anyway, but I think what it's gonna do is save the residents for a lot of panic and,
Right.
So now that you mentioned that,
that is
the
what
woman that
that.
was in the email list and
Samantha,
the
yes.
notification, yes, Samantha, she has sent a request for us to add even more people to that list. One who was from the state who's already on there, and that list really is the essential people that we need to notify.
Okay, I'll rule on that. She knows where to get it on the website.
Right,
We don't have to notify every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the state.
I agree.
They can go to the website and get it.
Or she can,
She can make a
she's
rule.
notified, she can pass
She
it
can
on
pass it on, that's on the
to
website.
whoever she'd
correct.
like.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I'll send her an email, a nice courtesy email.
That's another-
I thought she'd be here tonight.
I did too, to be honest with you.
She wants to meet Robin.
I think Rob's met her, haven't you?
I haven't, I've spoken to her on the phone.
No, there's no need to put it, the whole world on notification.
Okay.
Well, then that.
That's the purpose of the
That puts the
website.
burden of updating that list on
Yeah,
us,
no.
and we don't know who
Right,
these people
and
are,
I-
what her intentions
right,
are,
and-
no.
Thank you, I agree. All right, so have we heard from 978 Union Street? That was the gentleman that had to cut and cap his sewer, but it needed to be inspected. He hasn't been down here to pull a permit, nothing. I don't have a
Nothing.
phone number for him. You
Nope.
sent him a letter on February 15th.
Yep. Have not heard anything.
Anybody wanna volunteer to take a ride by and see if he's got
Yeah,
it?
I can do it, I'm gonna go up
That's what I
anyway and check the
want.
thing. That's 978?
Has he already done
978 Union.
No, he hasn't done it. That was the house that was torn down. Fire.
it? Mhm.
He seemed adamant that he wanted to get it done, so I'm surprised that we haven't heard from him. All right, so the manhole at Jefferson School,
I spoke to Rick on, oh, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so Rick contacted Dan Dell to go over and take a look at it, which he did, and he's gonna provide a quote, which we haven't seen yet. That's the collapsing manhole that I sent you guys an
Mhm.
email on, all right. What is this? Oh, this is actually something for Rick for your next agenda, for the Veolia update. So NLX North America is a company that, they try to take us down from the grid, everything, and
Oh, yeah.
it's a way to divert the energy and save energy. I don't know the details of the project, but, Rick does. Rick's starting to have a concern about shutting everything down because I guess the condition of the generator, he's a little concerned.
Yes,
Even though we participate in the program and it brings us between,
It may not come back up.
between $2,000 and $10,000 a year in revenue.
what that does is like once a month, they throw it down and move the generator, make sure everything's,
Oh, really?
Well, we used to do it twice a year and now we're doing it every quarter. And
Yeah.
now he's getting excited about it.
well, yeah, that's putting a stress on that.
He's
No.
thinking that the revenue that we're receiving is not worth
I
the
agree.
chance we're taking.
He and I have had that conversation, I agree with you
All right, so
completely.
can you add that to the agenda item for
Yeah.
Veolia, and then you guys can talk about it and let me know what you're gonna do?
That'll be on the April.
Yeah, it'll be on the April 20th. What I'm gonna do is have him get some paperwork together so he can give us a good blip on it.
So on March 16th, oh, thank you so much. So on March 16th, I sent you guys the sewer connection development fees revised.
Mhm.
I know you had a concern about it not addressing the 440, and we had a little discussion about it, and I think it does fit on
It
your
does,
needs,
yeah.
but I wanna confirm with everyone that that's,
I agree, but go ahead, Sherry, Dan.
I would agree, yeah.
you all set with that,
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah,
All right.
post it.
So I will publish this on April 1st.
Mhm. just for, on a side note to that, I'd like to look at the other fees, discuss them as far as the per gallon and what have you, just so by July 1st, we have a set fees for the year. Just want to take a look at it, make sure we're happy with them.
So, while we're talking about the fees,
So, well, on that fee schedule, is there something that should be put on there that says, did you put
It
subject
is
to
on the
change?
foot body.
yeah, all
Subject
fees
to
are subject to
change.
change is on
Yep.
the bottom.
Okay.
But I
Right.
did want to mention something else, because there was a gentleman in here, and I don't recall the address. He had a single family that he already tore down, that he was going to rebuild. and he
48
had-
carry?
I think it was him. He had the
Yeah.
other lot that he was putting the four
Right.
bedroom.
Yeah,
This says the following fees apply to all projects greater than 440, and I think his was 440, so he's under the radar, and I think he might have mentioned that in the meeting.
Yep, he did.
So I just wanted to draw that to your attention.
Just as a touchy to
Right.
that, I think at the town meeting, that duplex he was talking about is, gonna be picked, that land, those 2 lots are gonna be purchased by open space, I
Well,
believe.
there's 3 lots, and I think one's being purchased by open space.
But I think that's the one he was gonna put the duplex on.
No,
It's not?
no, it was the
No,
3rd
no.
one he was giving away to open space or selling to open space.
the retreat lot or whatever you
Yeah,
call it, yeah.
Okay.
there were 3. One is going to,
I thought he was selling 2 to open space.
no, because he only has 3, and he wanted to put the duplex on one.
Okay.
Does it have access road going back to his property?
Yeah, it goes up to the power lines.
All right, so the next item, 81 Park Street and 324 Howard. There's a gentleman named Billy Crystal.
A1 Park.
He's under contract to purchase both of those lots, 81 Park Street and 324 Howard. If you recall, we previously had someone that wanted to do a project up there, a 40B project.
Yep.
They're selling the land now. So this gentleman, Billy Crystal, says that the project is now part of the 40R overlay district, and it will raise funding for the town. I don't know.
What was that overlay district again?
40R. So I don't really know the details or understand how that works, but I know it's what Jennifer had been working on for the Union Street project. So this gentleman here is proposing a new project. He says it's more high-end, that he's gonna take into consideration the sidewalks and trees and all of that, make it like a nice project for that area. He has parking for it, which I believe he said was gonna be underneath the building. But
How
I
many
might-
units is he talking?
He didn't say. He was really evasive about that, because he wants to come in front of you and talk about what he has and get your feel for it and suggestions. So he's already approved by water because the project was grandfathered. He says the project is gonna use less than 10,000 gallons per day. So he didn't give like the breakdown of how many single bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, but he did say overall less than 10,000.
Does he have drawings or?
He doesn't, because it's kind of, he's just mulling it over.
If he wants to come in and discuss it with us.
That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, why don't we put him on for the 20th? I'd like to at
Does
least
he-
find out.
And what do you mean grandfathered?
For water, that area, he said he was grandfathered for water, they already approved it because they had approved the water for the 40B project previous.
Oh, okay.
And this one, he's actually gonna use less water. This is what he said, and you can get more in
Okay.
depth with him.
Yep.
When are you inviting him, March 20th?
No,
April.
April 20th, Wednesday, Thursday night.
Monthly meeting.
And on that agenda, I had Gaspar. Definitely want to get him. Howard Street for the 20th.
Who
Yeah,
else?
who's Gaspar?
Mike.
Mike Gaspar, yeah.
I don't think he's gonna show.
Well,
Alright, that's
he
Dyer's.
wanted to, he asked me for a hearing, so I'm gonna do it again. 2 strikes and he's out.
This is his 3rd strike. All right, so Dyer Street is also on
Yeah.
April 20th. Anyone else?
No, I have no one else.
All right, because I just want to make sure I send them the Zoom.
I'll send you a copy of my draft.
All right. All right, then I have 330 Weymouth Street.
Yep, we talked about that.
All right, I just wanted to point out to you that the sewer remediation fee should be updated because you guys have voted for that to be an R&M fee.
That's gotta be we didn't vote on anything right now for him. We were gonna do
Right.
that on the he's coming in next week, the 4th.
All right, so I have a couple of
Oh,
updates on
I
here.
think she's talking about just the form itself, because,
Right,
the
I think,
engineering and removal, and it's
That's-
still labeled as sewer remediation.
right,
And
I'm
that's,
gonna
that
keep
should be
that, I
R&M.
kept that with 75 gallons, I think the whole thing is gonna come up to like $1,600.
Yeah,
Because for the permit fee, he's still being paid for the permit, he's only doing an addition, he's not putting another business unit on.
right.
He's gonna still have to pay the $20 a gallon in the permit, basically.
He also said that toilet, he was mistaken with the 375.
Right, it's only 75.
Right. So I have a few comments, if you don't mind, that I make about this.
Shoot.
So there are different fees for commercial space on Title V, and then none of them are based on toilets. So you
Right.
might want to look up that regulation before when you modify the pricing. The other is, when we send these out, we should send them out as PDFs to people.
Say that again?
When we send these out, like we sent this out as an Excel spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
we probably
Ooh.
should send it out as a PDF.
Right, yep, you're right. That was my oops, yep.
And it should be sent from a town email account.
Right, I'll send it to you, you send it out.
All right,
Yeah, no, definitely.
all right.
Like I told him at that meeting, I said, I'll just jot down what I have and we'll discuss it at the 4th.
Yeah, I think he knew that it was gonna be preliminary, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to raise
No, I gave him a
those.
coronary.
I just wanted to raise those points. I'm sure you did. I always had a coronary reading it myself. All right, so the approved waiting list. Sherry sent something out.
Yeah,
There's some people supposed to contact you.
It's dated 7/18/2022,
Yep,
and
that is on the website at the moment.
right. So, do you have a newer approved one? I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. If you don't, that's fine.
I do not, but
Okay.
we did have a discussion on some of the connections, so I should be able to put one together for you.
All right.
$10,000 gallons.
It's a lot of water.
That doesn't sound good, Dan.
I know, my granddaughter gave it to me.
Keep it.
Right?
Uh,
So Abington flows. I saw some correspondence going around and I responded to Chuck and Adam Higgins just to tell them that the town of Abington provides us with their flows through the Charles Street Station in Abington every month. They also provide an I&I report at the end of each fiscal year. We typically roll that report into ours, but because of the NIPD's oversight or mistake that was in there this year, we didn't have to provide the report. But I just wanted you guys to have that information that they already provide flows.
But there should be
Because I-
something else you weren't aware of that you weren't there last Tuesday night. Mike O'Loughlin stated that someone from Abington is gonna be reaching out to me that they may be able to take some of our flow through Abington to Rockland.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, so,
taking our flow or providing less flow from Abington to
well,
us?
Abington, no, would be taking some, offset some of ours, because Abington's only given us a max of 110,000
Right,
gallons.
I thought they
The
were.
way I interpreted that was that he would be taking some of our excess flow. Now, my very first question is, this is not a main big enough to take that size flow.
Well, Abington already feeds into us one way, so
Yeah, I
what benefit is it to us to have our flow go through Abington when they're paying us for flow?
That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
But
That negates our
there's more to
contract.
that.
that's what I thought that they
There's
were.
more to that, though, also. With this agreement, they give us a percentage in repairs and fees.
They do, they give a percentage of all capital
So-
improvements.
I want to definitely hear the guy out, but the first thing that popped in my mind was, aside from the fees, is that it's more than just pumping that flow out. We don't have a main that could, the volume Mike, I think, was alluding to, we don't have a main that big to take it.
Right, but so we would negate our contract that we charge them maybe
Yes.
$120,000 a year, and then we might incur fees to now use their,
Yes, you're right, that's what I said, fine, I'll talk to the
They
gentleman.
just put a brand new main from Whitman to Rockland.
Yeah, no, but he's,
right, but we go through Abington.
we go through
We're
Abington.
already hooked up to Abington.
Right,
Oh,
But see, I'll listen to anybody, and I said,
Yeah.
sure, I'd be glad to talk to him, but I don't think he's really in depth with the agreement that we have with Abington. Maybe I should send Mike a copy of that. Chris and I are bantering about that. Chris Kenny being the attorney, but there's just too much, there's a lot more to it than just saying, okay, we'll cut off their flow. There's nothing there for them to cut off. 110,000 is nothing,
yes.
Right.
Right.
but the money we're getting is something. So I think that's a heavy, but like I said, let him come in. You were there, you heard him.
Yeah.
I'm all for talking to him, but
It's not just the contract amount either, we actually bill the people who are hooked onto sewer. I manually bill all the Abington residents that are on our sewer, it's not a lot, but
no, that's a discussion. But yeah.
I know, it sounds easy on the face of it, but there's a lot to think
Well,
about.
there's too many questions.
That will be interesting when he comes over.
Oh, I'd like to hear him in a public meeting. I think that'd be great.
Well, don't you wanna talk to him first?
Well, yeah, but I'd like to, when it comes down to it, I don't think he'd ever read the agreement. I don't know who he talked to.
Could have been something as simple as someone just approaching him off the cuff,
Yeah.
you know?
But as soon as I heard they could take some of our flow, I said, okay. Then you sit back and think, wait a minute.
Alright, so, Dyer Street. Oh, we already talked about
Yeah,
that,
yeah, we
failing the
did, yeah,
test.
he's gone.
My notes, alright. Have we heard anything about the decision on Zoom yet? I have
On-
not.
I know,
The decision regarding meetings on Zoom,
no.
that's still pending, okay.
What I would like to do
No.
is, I have not heard what they're doing with Zoom.
As far, it expires at the end of the month,
They said.
March or April?
April,
it's March.
no, April. It goes to the middle of April. Last correspondence I have with Lisa, I think.
Effective
what is
April
it?
1st, it says on this notice.
Yeah,
They said that they're gonna continue indefinite
well,
at one of the meetings I read.
Who would we talk to?
But Doug usually sends an update to all of us,
right,
but I haven't had anything from Doug yet about that.
What is your feeling on it?
3/7/23, we hadn't had any word yet.
The big thing that we had was where we were gonna be spending a lot of money, but if we can continue taping them, 2 o'clock works for me.
What
People, I mean,
for,
people
for
wanna see it.
monthly,
Yeah, people wanna
Yeah.
see it, but I don't wanna get a lot of pushback. I mean, if they want it at night,
then we can change the schedule to at night, if that's,
It's not that many rooms available at night.
No, here.
Oh,
He's talking
go-
about
go
here.
east and
You're
do it
not
right
talking
here.
about
Yeah.
here and taping it, correct?
we tape it.
Would you consider the 4 o'clock again?
Yeah.
Still during the day, but it doesn't take away from our
four,
work.
yeah,
days.
4 o'clock would work better for the staff, because it's not cutting into their workday.
Right, because this
I would
takes
agree
up a
with
lot of
that.
my time to get all of
Um,
this ready for you guys, and I mean, I know we don't have a superintendent, I have to do it anyway, but if I have to go to the monthly meeting during the workday, takes away more time then. But
Well,
that's
I'd be
fine.
happy to reach out to Doug and find out if he's heard anything. I thought from the state level it's expiring at March.
See,
31st.
what I understood would be the middle of
So-
April.
Right, so, no, it's April 1st, I have the letter right here it's April 1st,
Yeah,
which is Sunday, isn't it? Or Saturday?
yeah, it's the end of the week. So I think we should just plan on having an in-person meeting next month.
Well, no,
Because
I'd
they
say
would've
keep it
said
April, that, because we don't have one to announce, let's keep it April and announce it, you keep the April meeting at Zoom, and if we're gonna change it then, say May from now on.
Well, the
Well,
April meeting might not be able to be on Zoom.
Yeah, it
Oh.
might not be allowed.
Do you want me to call
Um,
Doug after I get out of here?
Yeah.
See if he's heard anything from the
Yeah.
state? Because
Yeah.
he usually
Because when it
Okay,
first
let's
came up,
talk this over, everyone's, yeah,
so,
the last few, we've only had 5 people show. And that's basically us, 1 or 2 residents. Yeah, no, I'd change it if you want. Long as we can tape it when we're talking money.
yeah,
Well, wouldn't you want to tape all of them?
I wanna tape them,
Yeah.
right, I wanna tape
Record
them, because
everything.
my thing was money, and people saying, oh, well, we didn't know that, then we started taping them. So, you know, if we can continue doing that, and Chris Bernicki, Bernica is, you know, willing to put it up on YouTube. He's like, he lives on Dwyer Street.
Oh, I was just thinking that same thing. Bernica and Dwyer.
Bernica. So, no, I'd have no problem with that.
So
I
I
drove
would,
up and looked at Dwyer Street, they said, what a mess.
That's okay.
Now you got Dan calling it Dwyer Street. It's spreading.
So I
if you
would
can reach
plan-
out to Doug, find out,
Dyer.
and then we'll do is
Yeah.
I'll put a notice up on Facebook that says for here on in sewer commission meeting.
because in the past, what the issue is it's an extension of the COVID provisions.
Right,
And in the past, when they were going to extend that, you usually knew well in advance.
Right.
And nobody has heard anything. And that's why my feeling is they're not gonna do
okay,
it.
but again, my
So-
only concern is that I wanna make sure Chris Bernica will still allow us to tape it and make it available on YouTube.
So I would suggest that we have an extra, whatever fails on this, is it the battery that happened a couple times?
Yeah,
That
battery card.
maybe he can spare
Yeah, I
an
have
extra?
an extra battery.
Oh,
now.
good.
We took care of that. So I'll just pick up
Sure,
an
could
extra
you
card next
Could you
tomorrow.
talk to them about that?
Yeah. I might have already talked to him already, but I will bring it up again. And I'll just get the extra card.
You know, if that works for me, because it doesn't interfere with Red Sox night games.
Um, And if we're not asking, are we asking to have these monthly meetings broadcast live?
If you won't be able to broadcast live, just say
Not
they'll be
from here.
available for YouTube at the next day whenever he does. That's why I
Not
want
from
to
here.
discuss it.
We, you know,
This
if
room
we were
isn't
going
equipped to broadcast live, it's
Correct.
like $10,000.
if we're going to
down.
broadcast live, we would have to take the meeting to another location,
And that was pre-COVID pricing.
so.
So,
So, no.
see how he wants to handle it. I just
Well,
want to make
that's
sure
gonna
that
be
they-
his question, do we wanna broadcast live or not? That's his question.
Is it okay, you're saying it costs to broadcast live?
I said to outfit this room to broadcast.
Oh, no, I don't want to. If
No,
we have to do
right.
it,
And
then
then
we'll
share
do it
with
up at
the-
town hall.
Right, we moved to town hall or.
And I'm sure in the afternoon it wouldn't be a problem up there.
So is that what we wanna do?
And
Okay, we
I'm
have
game.
to go there, I don't care.
You talk to Chris.
Do you want to broadcast live is the question, or do
We
you want
wanna
to put it on
broadcast
tape
live.
like this
I
and
would,
then upload it?
well, if we
What's your
broadcast live,
preference?
we don't have to worry about taping it. Talk to Chris. Let
But
us
you're
know
still
how he
gonna be
feels Tuesday.
taping your working sessions
Absolutely,
anyway, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So if we're going to broadcast live, then we need to make arrangements with
Town hall.
town hall.
And that'd be only once a month. We could tape them here. Is the downstairs equipped to tape too?
I don't think
I don't
it's
think
working.
it is. They made that room a little bit smaller, I think they gave some of the space away. I know they have meetings in there, but I don't know if they're broadcast live. Because I did see the Board of Health had one broadcast live, but they had to do it over at a room in the school.
I don't care where we do it.
I know
Okay,
that-
I don't know if I wanna do it at school.
Well, I know they do it in the lecture hall, but I think that requires
What's the benefit of
either,
what's the benefit of broadcasting live versus uploading it the next day?
To me, nothing. It's just taking one more argument away that I didn't get a chance to see it. I mean, be seeing it the next day, but what could they do? They'd call in, they wouldn't call in. We're not getting that big turnout. Again, all I care about is
Seen
having
that,
it
yeah.
recorded one way or the other.
Because people they can watch it at their convenience now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Talk to Chris, however he wants to do, whatever you two decide, I'm gamey.
yeah, cause we'll need, yeah, okay.
And Rob Sher's gonna talk to you about that letter to Michael Laughlin, about changing that last paragraph.
Yeah, because that was kind of like hanging out there on its own
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
weird way.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
Beach
next?
Street. Are there any updates on Beach Street that I need to know about, or are we all good up there?
No, I'm gonna go up, sorry, if Dan Dell'll probably be gone by the time I get up there now.
They're probably right.
I'll get him first thing in the morning when I'm going over to, oh, I'm not babysitting.
Oh, geez, we going fishing?
No, it's funny you said that, I checked out my pond Sunday.
All right, so that's perfect. The school project. ACOM did the flow before, they cambered it. Pat Brennan, shared, I can't even read my own writing, and Weston and Sampson was gonna do the flow afterwards, but is someone overseeing that project? This is the school project?
No, that's the one, no, I'll go up there tomorrow, I'll wanna stop in and see that. Did he give you an estimate on the floor by any chance?
No.
Yeah,
No? He doesn't give me anything?
that's gonna be really interesting when they put the,
But you have it from AECom before, and Weston and Sampson was gonna do the flow after.
right,
Right.
what AECom only did was from the, going out to Reed Street, I wanna get going out to Plain Street. I'm
You
gonna
don't
them
have
do both
anything to
of them.
compare it to, though, if you didn't get.
No, but I
the
still would
before.
like to see what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut this off.
All right, so Dynavac, have we heard anything from
Nope.
them? The letter you sent them was February 7th.
Right, and they were gonna do that in May.
Oh, in May, okay, so,
Second week in May was what they told me.
That's the parking lot,
That's-
manhole covers.
Right. They have to uncover one, put a collar on it, and then collar and seal and pave around two others.
Who is this?
That's down on Airport Road.
they
Airport
did their
Drive.
parking lot and they went over a couple of manholes, gave them under. So the carbon monoxide detectors, I got an update from Rick, he's requested a new quote because that panel in the lobby has been giving them trouble for a long time and it's very outdated. So in conjunction with the carbon monoxide detectors, they thought it would be a good time to revisit, maybe replacing that panel. So
Okay,
we'll-
one thing on that panel, that if that 2.5 goes through town meeting with the phosphorus upgrade, that panel's part of the upgrade. They'd be modifying all the electrical. So I gotta make sure Rick's aware of that.
Yeah, I don't think he is, so you might wanna,
Yeah.
do you wanna add that to his update for
Yep.
the meeting? That way we won't spend the money
Right.
twice. So Rick and I have
Yeah, it
been
sounds
working
like a
on
nice
that,
thing.
the IPP application, but honestly, I think somebody needs to take over that program, because I feel like some of the permits that are out there are coming up on expiration.
For inspections?
No? Well, first of all, someone has to go out and visit these places, yes, for inspections along with Rick.
Yeah, no, that's money, but I'll do that, when he wants to do that. I'll talk to Rick on it tomorrow.
You know, because that has to be documented for the file, and then some people are, you might want to consider visiting the ones who are coming up for expiration. So you probably need to spend a little time down here with the IPP pile of work and Rick and figure that out. Visit those first.
Mhm.
And then also adding in the dental office and 4 dental offices, right? Is it 4? And then the car wash. The car wash, I think, is gonna be,
Was it four? There's not 4 dentals.
I thought it was 4. And
2.
there's one, the car wash though, I think is gonna be the bigger, because that has PFAS, and so what I'm hearing, and if I understand it correctly, is down the road, PFAS in wastewater is gonna be a measurable item, right?
Right, they've already come up with what they consider a sampling protocol. That's gotta go out for public comment and approval, but they have come up, EPA has come up with a sampling protocol for PFAS.
Right, so I don't know if PFAS is generated during the whole car washing cycle, depending on what chemicals you use.
I would say
don't
it's,
know.
I would say it's coming off of, the vehicles or,
Right, so that would be feeding into the wastewater. If we have to measure that, we might wanna do the car wash sooner rather than later.
Yep.
And get them into the program. We don't even have a fee structure for car washes. So we would have to look at our existing fee structure and determine what's a good fee for a car wash to participate for a permit. Cause we have different pricing
Don't they get a
structures for the
discount for
permits.
using so much water?
No,
Yeah.
we don't give just discounts. This is the sewer department.
WRA
No.
does.
We're not MWRA. Are you in the wrong sewer commissioner meeting?
We don't discount.
what do you make cold, it's not cold or not,
Wait a minute, let me go
This is
back to the.
Rockland.
Just- yeah.
Dan's been visiting Hingham Street, inspections.
No, I know that for a fact.
Alright, so I think I'm at the end. Actually, I'm not, because I have these from Rick. I asked him for updates on this. I just need to. Alright, so he has a PFAS sampling memo here. Please note that you would start PFAS sampling in the third quarter, so that's 7/1/2023,
Yep.
is the calendar year. Footnote 12 of your permit says, this reporting requirement for the listed PFAS parameters takes effect the first full calendar quarter after the effective date of the authorization to discharge under the general permit. Until there is an analytical method approved in 40 CFR Part 136 for PFAS in wastewater, then monitoring shall be conducted using the draft method 1633. So he notes on here that the general permit starts 4/1/2023, and Veolia will be using Alpha Analytical for PFAS sampling in July of 2023.
That's the protocol that they've got up for public comment.
Then the other issue that I asked him about, so we got a letter from the DEP, and they were saying that we were not in compliance because they didn't have reports from us. But we were actually sending the reports, but the person to receive the reports had changed. So Rick followed up with them, and it's been resolved, so they're both closed, the status on both of those. So he must have gotten the updated addresses to forward those to.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
What about the, is this a letter for, Beach Street? That we signed to send out?
That looks longer, wasn't that?
I clipped some stuff on it that, that's my roto.
Oh, yeah, this was the letter. It was on the table here. Did you take it with you?
No, we haven't signed it yet. That's what we're gonna sign today to go out to them.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I have a pile of things down there that need to be signed on the end before you leave for the day.
How many people on the side? All of us?
Yeah.
I'm just glad you signed it for us all.
Yeah, he's on May 18th.
May 18th, yep.
Hey, the yellow orb is out.
What did they?
I brought my own pen today.
Oh.
Do you want to sign those other papers while I'm here? Are you gonna make the changes to the letter today, or no?
No, she'll do it the later on.
No.
Okay.
This is the only thing we have to sign.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I signed.
Dan's gotta sign this.
That's that.
This is all mine. That's all I have.
What's today's date?
28. Thank you. So the change order. Oh, I have to get Scott to sign the change order.
Yes.
Chris, does Chris need to see it?
Chris is saying, looking at it.
He is?
Yep.
There's no signature line for him?
No, I just asked him to look it over.
Has he provided any
No,
feedback yet?
he promised me he'd get to me by the end of the day today. It may be in my email now.
Alright, so,
I also sent him down so you're aware, you guys are aware, the pipe spec and the invitation for bid.
The stainless steel.
That's all, you've got all the paperwork right there. I
Yeah.
gave you all my paperwork, so
Okay,
I have nothing left than that.
well, you're getting it
Just
back.
don't, yeah, please don't forget where you got it.
what account am I charging any of these against from this,
Which one is that?
is this $90,000, this change order?
Yes.
That change order is going to, that's part of the
That's the
outlaw.
90,000, yes. So
You,
we talked about that. You have
I
that?
don't have a copy of that. I did not put that in with your,
Okay, that's all right. I have
You
one.
and I spoke about it, do you
We talked
recall what
about
we were
that
charging it
today.
against?
It's
because you
going-
got my whole file on that, so.
Yes, it is going against. 680292?
But that sounds confident, didn't it?
It sounds official.
Perfect.
And that's all part of the I&I rehab work. All right,
I don't know, what is this pile?
I don't know.
I know, the
We didn't
piles are
touch it.
starting to grow
Didn't
on their
touch
own
it.
around here.
Yeah, no,
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll be down tomorrow morning. I'll give you a call.
All right, thank you.
The only thing we have left is ordinance rules and regs, unless you want to
Okay.
table that.
No, the ordinance rules and regs.
Oh,
So, on the town warrant, there will be an article to amend the so-called Town of Rockland sewer use ordinance, adopted in 2008, last revised by Article 33 of the May 2011 annual town meeting as follows. Changing the name of the Town of Rockland sewer use ordinance to the sewer use bylaw of the Rockland Sewer Department. Authorizing the town clerk to insert the same after the approval of the same in Rockland Town Code. Division 2, General Bylaws, Part 2, General Legislation is Chapter 390, Sewer Rules. And further by deleting the word ordinance each time it appears and inserting in place thereof, assuming bylaw, that's my assumption. And further that the town clerk be authorized to make clerical, editorial, or other adjustments relating to incorporating the new sewer use bylaw.
So we paid,
So we are taking the sewer use ordinance, turning it into a bylaw, and putting it into the Rockland Town Code.
so instead of doing that simply and doing that, we had to put in the therefores and further for legal costs.
Well, there was a lot of discussion on this because part 2 is amending section 2, the general sewer use requirements, subsection 2.4, new sewers and sewer connections,
Oh,
by
okay, good.
deleting the sentence, the fee is currently $10 per gallon per day of any new discharge, and leaving the remainder. So that fee is the only specified fee in the whole
There
document.
should be no fees mentioned in that document.
Correct, and that's why we're taking that out.
Okay.
So this will take our ordinance and turn it into a bylaw, and then the sewer commissioners need to institute a rules and regulations so that we can start to make any necessary changes. For example, you
Yep.
know, incorporating the Rockland drain layers, or the 2-year expiration,
Yep.
all the working changes that are needed.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the article as written to go into the town meeting. Do I have a second?
Okay, second.
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Ms. Ashens, yes.
Okay. That's all I have on that. I distributed a copy of our FY 2024 budget, which I will be meeting with the Finance Committee tonight.
Is that on TV?
I don't think so, I think they're in that downstairs room.
I thought they had a camera in
Well, if they are,
We'll find out
that'll be
now.
fun.
there. Everybody's.
What did I have? I had one question on
So from our last meeting, the only thing that was updated was there was an additional $350 that came through on a union contract that had to be added to it.
okay, no?
Yeah,
Senior clerk, that's what I want to see.
Yep.
And there was one other question I had on it. Oh, this is the opera?
That's something different, yeah, that's
Okay.
next. So my question to you, this is our last chance, do we want to increase the superintendent's salary to 120,000?
We're not getting any takers, I'd say yes. Talk to me on it, don't let me,
If it would bring in an inquiry on our search, then that would be fine. I mean, if it doesn't mandate that we pay that, it just approves it in the budget, it gives us the
I
flexibility
make
to
a motion,
offer
we
it.
increase the sewer superintendent's salary for budget purposes only.
Second,
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
yes.
And Chuck is a yes.
All right.
For budget purposes only.
Yep.
Please include that phrase in the minutes.
Okay, the next, something?
I was gonna ask when, that hearing gonna have the extra clerk on time? How many hours a week you work, 20 or 15?
Yeah, roughly 15 to 20.
15 to 20. 15 to 19, isn't it?
15 to 19.
I think once they hit 20, they go to, get benefits.
Right, 15 to 19.
Mhm.
I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
No.
No.
Next document, this is the big one.
Oh, okay, yes.
So, what I have been trying to do with all the different article fundings that we have from previous votes, is to project expenses on various projects that the sewer department is undertaking. This document rearranges that and lists it by project. I've tried to include where the funding is coming from and then what I expect to be the expenses. I do have some updates to it after sitting with Robin today, but by and large, it's mostly accurate. My concern is the CWMP and the rate study. It does look like it's going to be over budget.
That over budget was due to the administrative order.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll make a note of that.
We had to supply them with an amendment into,
Yeah.
we're
For
incorporating.
the alternatives.
Yeah. There was
Okay.
another one that hit as well. I have to go
It's
look
the
at
I&I
mine.
control monitoring.
Yes, but I gotta
But
go
that-
home and check my notes on that.
That I&I control monitoring, our year one is part of the I&I rehab work, and it's in our budget for year two.
Yes, but I have a figure. Okay.
All right.
The I&I, what I wanna talk to you about is the digester boiler and the piping.
Yes,
We haven't got a bid on the piping yet.
correct.
Now, I'm hoping to hold, I have a feeling who's gonna win the bid, and I'm gonna try to hold them hostage on it to make up for that shortcoming.
That'd be nice, yeah. Okay, let's see how it works.
But please give some thought to that, about the municipality
Yes.
thing. We really, let's think about it long and hard. I wanna put it down on each agenda up until
I
the
was gonna say,
20th.
can we continue to talk
Yeah,
about it?
keep talking about it
Yes.
before I reach out to I'm sure they're gonna be watching this, they know it's coming, but I wanna talk it over amongst you guys so we know we're comfortable in what we're asking for, because that's gonna be a big step. The key is, it cannot come from the taxpayer, so.
And then, let's see, I'm still looking at
Have they
articles.
fixed those sewers over there? They had a
At the
problem?
schools?
No, I gotta go over there tomorrow.
Is Memorial still up?
No, it's coming
That's it.
down. That's it. I'll take a motion in today's meeting. Not that I'm in a hurry.
Yeah, make a motion,
All in favor? Mr. Ross?
yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Chuck's a yes.